After years of tension, prison time, and real bloodshed tied to their camps, Young Thug and YFN Lucci were just seen standing in the same club, not arguing, not fighting, smiling. And that's exactly what made it dangerous. Because for almost a decade, their names were linked to one of Atlanta's most violent rap rivalries, a feud that left people dead, careers frozen, and entire crews divided. So when that video surfaced, fans thought it was gross, but one person didn't see peace. He saw betrayal, and what he said next could reopen wounds that were supposed to be buried. This isn't just about music anymore. It's about loyalty, power, and what happens when the streets feel disrespected. And trust me, what happened after that club night is way bigger than anyone expected. That one person is Lil Woody. Lil Woody, who has been publicly linked to YSL in the past, has faced serious allegations over the years, including claims about involvement in violent incidents during the height of the YSL and YFN conflict.
Friends are locked up, people have gotten killed. This is good for everybody. But some people have a problem with this. You have a problem with that?
You damn right.
Okay, explain.
Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning?
One of the most talked about accusations involved a man known as Peanut. It's important to note that these are allegations discussed publicly during legal proceedings and online conversations. Woody has not been convicted in connection to that specific claim. To understand why Woody appears frustrated now, you have to understand how deep the YSL YFN feud really ran. This wasn't just social media exchanges or competitive lyrics. According to court records presented during the RICO proceedings, federal authorities alleged that both groups were connected to organized criminal activity tied to a broader street conflict in Atlanta. At one point, Young Thug and YFN Lucci weren't enemies. They were rising artists in the same city, building careers and gaining recognition. But somewhere along the line, that relationship deteriorated, tension escalated, alliances hardened, and the rivalry became one of the most talked about conflicts in Atlanta's rap scene. Eventually, federal prosecutors stepped in. Both artists faced serious RICO-related charges in separate cases. Young Thug faced life-altering consequences, and Lucci was also looking at significant time. After lengthy court battles, including one of the longest trials in Georgia history, Thug accepted a plea deal. Lucci resolved his legal situation through the court system as well. One by one, they were released. Then came the viral club video, Young Thug and YFN Lucci in the same venue, not just coexisting, interacting, smiling, talking. For many observers, this symbolized growth. Two men who experienced the justice system firsthand, possibly realizing the cost of prolonged conflict. But for Lil Woody, it reportedly felt different. He sat down for an interview and openly questioned the timing of this reconciliation. When the reunion was framed as positive for the city, Woody didn't hide his frustration. He asked why peace wasn't pursued earlier, before people were incarcerated, before families suffered, before lives were permanently changed.
Why y'all ain't do this in the beginning? Why did we have to go through so much shit for y'all niggas to feel like y'all gonna put the money first and y'all gonna come together? Y'all could have been squashed the beef. Y'all could have been came together a long time ago. Y'all could have. But now y'all saying, man, this shit ain't about... Bro, you know how many people sent in jail for the rest of their life behind this shit? You know how many families that still broken behind this shit? You damn right. I come from this environment, Black. I come from here.
You can hear the emotion in his voice during that segment. He speaks about individuals still serving long sentences connected to that era. He mentions broken families and young lives redirected toward prison. From his perspective, if unity was possible now, why wasn't it possible back then? Woody also made it clear that he never wanted endless enemies. He stated that at one point, there was mutual respect between both sides. According to him, Lucci was not originally someone he viewed as a permanent enemy. His frustration seemed directed at what he described as leadership decisions, suggesting that those at the top could have chosen reconciliation much sooner.
I didn't want to go to war with people. I didn't want to have people as enemies. I wanted to be friends with a lot of them because we was friends. See, a lot of y'all don't understand. We wasn't never always enemies. We were friends at a point. Lucha is not an enemy to me. I can go out this door right now and see Lucha and keep going about my business. I'm not here to try to tear nobody down. But at the end of the day, man, y'all so selfish that y'all showed the world how selfish y'all live.
In that part, he expresses that the situation feels selfish, that while the public now sees peace, many others are still living with the consequences of what happened. He then revealed that he claimed to have previously spoken about ending the conflict before it escalated further. According to Woody, he once suggested sitting down and resolving issues early on.
That's why I feel some type of way. It's fake. Because me and Thug had conversation where I told Thug, like, man, look, bro, for real, bro, this shit ain't about nothing. I told this nigga this shit ain't about nothing. I told this nigga, I'm gonna go over here and talk to these niggas and squash this shit.
He says he believed conversations could have happened before things turned into full-scale hostility. From his account, they were opportunities for dialogue that were never fully pursued. After that, he makes another pointed remark about the current celebration.
But they willing to sit down and squash it because everybody like, man, we Atlanta, we known for getting money. We ain't trying to go to war, but it's an all-out war. A whole lot of families hurting. A whole lot of young men don't lost their life to death, and jail. And y'all niggas in the club party? Talking about because y'all went to trial and everybody flipped on y'all? What?
Here, he questions the timing again, suggesting that now, after trials and legal consequences, peace feels easier than it did when tensions were at their highest. The discussion then shifts toward past incidents that were widely reported during the feud. At one point, there were allegations that YFN Lucci's mother's home was shot at. Reports indicated multiple shots were fired, although thankfully no one was injured.
First time I was on a promo tour, I was in Tampa. I was actually about to go right on the stage and they called me like the house got shot up. I did my performance, then we hit the road and went back home because I had to go check on my mama. Everything was good though. Didn't nobody get hit or nothing.
How many shots were there?
I don't know, probably like 15.
Woody references that incident carefully, acknowledging how serious it was, while also clarifying that much of what the public believes came from online speculation and media narratives. He also addresses a lyric from Young Thug that many internet users connected to that situation. However, he points out that Thug never explicitly named anyone in the line. Much of the connection was made by fans online. Woody even states that, from his understanding, Thug himself was not personally involved in any direct act against anyone's mother, emphasizing the difference between lyrics, assumptions, and confirmed facts. And that's where this situation becomes complicated. On one side, you have two major artists seemingly choosing peace after years of legal battles and personal losses. On the other side, you have individuals who feel the cost of that conflict was paid by many others, and that reconciliation, while positive, doesn't erase what happened in between. Whether this new chapter between Young Thug and YFN Lucci lasts remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: when high-profile rivalries end, not everyone feels closure at the same time.
Did he say who mom he shot at?
No, he did not.
So people just take things and try to investigate and try to make it what it is. From my understanding, Thug ain't never shot at nobody mama.
But here's the reality. In street politics, it often doesn't matter who actually carried something out. When you're viewed as the leader or decision maker, many people believe you're accountable for what your circle does. That's the code a lot of people reference. So when fans see Young Thug and YFN Lucci together after years of tension, legal battles, and serious allegations tied to their camps, some supporters question whether it's genuine reconciliation or simply a strategic move. Woody made his feelings clear. He said he doesn't have personal hate toward Lucci and that he still has love for Thug, but he disagrees with how the situation was handled. For Woody, there's a difference between ending conflict and suddenly appearing close. He suggested that if both artists had come home and publicly agreed to stop the violence, that alone would have been meaningful. But being seen together socially after everything that reportedly happened feels different to him. In his view, there may not be open hostility, but that doesn't automatically mean friendship. The response to that interview has been intense, opinions are split, On one side, many people respect what Thug and Lucci appear to be doing. They believe both men matured, learned from their legal troubles, and chose peace over prolonged conflict. Supporters argue this is exactly what hip-hop needs: less rivalry, more unity, and more focus on business rather than courtrooms. Both artists faced serious RICO cases that carried heavy potential sentences. They endured time behind bars and public scrutiny. From that perspective, if they've decided to move forward, some feel that should be applauded. On the other side, critics echo Woody's concerns. They point out that others connected to the conflict are still incarcerated or dealing with long-term consequences. Families were impacted, lives were changed permanently. From that angle, a public reconciliation can feel complicated. It raises emotional questions about accountability, sacrifice, and fairness. Social media has amplified every take. Some accuse Woody of stirring things up. Others say he's expressing what many are thinking but unwilling to say publicly. What makes the situation delicate is the public nature of the conversation. When someone questions whether peace between groups like YSL and YFN is genuine, it can influence how others interpret the situation. In street culture, words carry weight, especially when spoken by someone perceived to have been closely involved. Woody is not a random commentator. He's someone who has been associated with that world, and when he speaks, certain audiences pay attention. So what does this mean for hip-hop and the broader culture? First, it highlights a difficult truth about organized conflicts. When leaders clash, it's often others who experience the deepest consequences. And when leaders reconcile, not everyone is emotionally ready to move forward. Some people are still coping with trauma, legal issues, or loss. That tension doesn't disappear overnight. Second, it shows how complicated loyalty can be. Woody says he's loyal to Young Thug, yet that same loyalty makes him question decisions he doesn't fully agree with. That internal conflict, respect mixed with disagreement, is real and layered. Third, it forces us to reflect on how audiences consume rap conflicts. From the outside, seeing former rivals together can look like growth and positivity. For those who lived through it, it may feel far more complex. Behind every headline are real people with real consequences. Right now, things appear calm but cautious. Since Woody's interview, neither Young Thug nor YFN Lucci has publicly responded. They've continued moving quietly. That silence can be interpreted in multiple ways. Some see it as maturity, choosing to not engage in public back and forth. Others might interpret it as ignoring deeper concerns. Another important factor is that both artists are navigating supervised legal conditions. Any renewed controversy could have serious repercussions. That alone creates strong incentive to keep things peaceful. The unpredictable element is how others connected to the situation feel. If more voices publicly question the reconciliation, tensions could resurface. Public narratives can shape private emotions. That's why situations like this require careful handling. At its core, this moment reflects something bigger about the culture. Peace is powerful, but it's rarely simple. Forgiveness is necessary, but it doesn't erase the past. Moving forward is wise, but it doesn't automatically heal everyone involved. Woody is raising questions that many find uncomfortable. How do you reconcile when people have already faced severe consequences? How do you ask others to let go of pain that still feels fresh? How do leaders move on when supporters are still processing what happened? There aren't easy answers. What is clear is that conversations about accountability, growth, and healing matter. If Young Thug and YFN Lucci have truly chosen a different path, many hope they use their platforms to discourage further violence and set a stronger example for the next generation. As for Woody, he appears to be processing his own experiences and emotions. If he's carrying trauma from what he's reportedly been around, healing is important for him too, regardless of how others choose to move. For viewers, it's important to remember that this isn't just entertainment. These are real lives, real families, and real consequences. The big question remains, is this truly the end of tension between YSL and YFN? or simply a quiet chapter before something else unfolds? Only time will tell. Where do you stand on it? Do you see the reconciliation as growth, or do you understand Woody's perspective? And do you believe the conflict is genuinely resolved?